Playboy, you made that beat.
Back at it again this beautiful Sunday afternoon on the I-35 up to Austin. This is Mike Daniel representing Super Sports Media, showing love to our Central Texas and today San Antonio folks.
And I am your boy, E. Talley. And once again, Mike Daniel he surprised us once again with the special guest we have today.
Coach Brett Jewasko, O'Connor High School.
Coach Jewasko, first off, thank you for joining us, man. As we're showing love and highlighting coaches around the city and the area, what you're over there doing with O'Connor, what you just recently did with O'Connor, what you're going to continue doing with O'Connor, we had to have you on. So thank you for taking time out of your Sunday, staying out of that baseball sun with your son, and fellowshipping and talking hoops with us here on the show, Coach. Thank you for your time, and just thank you for allowing us this privilege.
Always down to talk basketball, enjoy it, and appreciate what you guys are doing to promote high school basketball and promote these young men and doing what they love. So thank you guys.
All right, so we're gonna get it started. We got some questions for you, Coach, and let's do this. So first one off the charts. Coming back to O'Connor this season, right? What do you believe are the key factors that have contributed to your sustained success as a high school basketball coach over these past few years?
First of all, we're blessed to have a lot of great kids and a lot of great families. And I mean that in terms of, not only as basketball players and the support they give them, but as young men who are, quite honestly, enjoyable to be around. And I think that's been something that has contributed to some of our success is having guys who, truly enjoy each other or truly are a joy to be around. One of the things I talked about a lot with our last year's group is that there was no ego, that there wasn't any egos in there that cared about their own success. It was all about, winning, and they were all willing to do whatever it takes. And, I think everybody wants to win, but, my high school coach, Coach Stan Bonowitz at East Central, I remember him telling us one time after a game, everybody wants to win, but not everybody's willing to do what it takes to win. And that sacrifice is such a big deal. And we had a group full of guys, a locker room full of guys who are all willing to do that. And so that's certainly the culture that we're striving for every year. And our players and their families have a lot to do with that.
That's huge. You got the support, and I love that. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Coach, I'm going to piggyback off that real quick and ask this question to you. Do you think with that support system you had, was that why you were able to surprise a lot of people last year in the playoffs, to have a deep run, to go and and finish one game short of making a state tournament?
Yeah, there's no doubt that it takes an entire community, and I think I remember our Lake Travis game in a regional semifinals, and the atmosphere in there was incredible, and that's the kids, but that's also the O'Connor community and those people coming out. And it wasn't until I saw a clip after the game of a big shot that we had hit to send the game into overtime. And in the background, I could see the student section, and it was filled from the bottom all the way through the top on that section. And it's just one of those things as a coach, like, you don't really realize because you're in the heat of battle and your mind's in 100 different places. So, that kind of support, when you're able to step back and see that, it's huge for me, but most importantly, it's creating experiences that these guys are never going to forget the rest of their life. And I think that's what high school sports is all about, and certainly what we're trying to get here in the basketball world.
Well, you're one of the contributors that's doing a great job. But hey, can you give us
Hey,
some insight into your coaching philosophy and the specific strategies or systems you have implemented that has enabled your teams to have consistent success?
I think it is, one of the things that we strive for every year is just trying to build a unit and a unit that, where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And that takes a lot on each of these guys individually. First, to find out who they are. As basketball players, we always ask the question, how do you impact winning? What are you good at? What are you bringing to the table? And those are the things that we want those guys to really try to hone in on those strengths and start from a position of strength there. And there's a lot of ways to impact a basketball game. There's a lot of ways to impact winning. We always say there's five guys in one basketball. If you're only good when you have the ball, then you're probably not that great to us. It's all those other things that they can find ways to impact wins. And, we harp on that in practice too. We try to make everything as competitive as possible, and we'll chart wins throughout a day. And how many times did your team win? And we'll chart that throughout an off season and kind of tally those things up. And I think it's very telling because, sometimes you don't see all of the little things that guys do to impact winning, but that'll show up on the scoreboard in the end. And that the ultimate goal for each of them is to be better as a team because you're on the court and what you're bringing to the table.
Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
So when it comes to player development, how do you approach that? And what are some specific techniques or drills that you use that's building upon and improving your players' individual skills and basketball IQ?
Yeah, I mean, player development is everything. And so we're trying to, in everything we do, we're trying to marry our player development with our offense. And so part of that is we want an offense that is built on learning how to play basketball, how to flow off of each other, and most importantly, how to make decisions on the fly. Because basketball is a game where we don't get the luxury of having a stoppage every play. We got to have guys that can make quick decisions, that can adjust and adapt to what's going on the basketball floor. And so when we talk player development, we try to create environments every day in practice where we put them in those situations and we play. And I think for us, we've kind of changed a little bit in the sense of we try to play a lot more now, but maybe it's small-sided games. It could be 3-on-3, 4-on-4, and then just giving them specific rules or constraints that we have that hopefully help a certain skill emerge. So like, for example, like 5-on-0, I'd say probably 5 years ago, if we wanted to teach our kids to drive and play off of 2 feet and be under control in there, we would probably do like a 3-on-0 drill where we would drive and it would be very scripted. They drive, they play off 2, maybe they back pivot and find the next guy moving to an open space. Now, more so our player development is we're going to put them in that same 3 guys, but now we're going to put 3 defenders out there. And maybe we give our offense a little bit of an advantage to help create the scenario where they're driving. But now that help comes and they're having to make those decisions on the fly of, what do I do here? Do I play off 2? Do I keep my dribble? Do I finish? Where's the open man? Decision making. Everything we do, we try to put our guys in an environment where they have to make decisions on the fly. We try to speed that brain up, quick processing, and hopefully it's kind of a pounding the rock thing over time that they get better at. So in terms of skill development, we're hammering those things, but that's the way that we do it over at O'Connor.
I'm taking notes, just so you know. That was a hell of an answer, Coach.
Thank you.
Well, it sounds like you're trying to build that IQ and make sure that IQ gets you to the parts to where though they understand things and it doesn't matter how fast the game is, their IQ is going to help them be in the right positions, it sounds like.
Yes, sir. No doubt. One of the things we do every spring early on is maybe like a simple 3-on-3 game. We'll play like the FIBA rules 3-on-3. But we call it 0.5 second decision making. And if anybody catches the ball and they don't make a decision in 0.5 seconds, it's a turnover. And it's just fast paced, trying to get these guys to be decisive. A lot of times we tell them there's no wrong decision. Like, you can learn from that, but the only wrong decision is that indecision that I caught it and I held it. Be decisive, trust yourself. We believe that over time those skills and IQ will emerge if we keep coaching them that way.
Well, taking a step further and talking about strength and conditioning, as far as your program, how are you implementing and incorporating your strength and conditioning for your whole program?
Absolutely. We're trying to get our guys ready for the season right now. So one of the things in the fall is, we lift 3 days a week in the morning before school. We do movement stuff in athletics every day before we work out. It may be foot ladders and maybe jump ropes, things to just get them warmed up. But also hopefully, building the body and the feet that can help them later on. And, all of the stuff that we do, the goal is to enhance what they do on the court, right? And, so you need that strength for handling the pressure teams, the ability to get open, to play through contact, things that you see in playoff games, in big playoff basketball that, I think the strength and conditioning part is a big aspect of that. Having those guys not only prepared, but hopefully, knowing that they put in the work, that's a lot of where that confidence comes from for each of those individuals and for us as a team.
Wow.
Go ahead, Mike.
Getting prepared for that long term. That's a hell of an approach and a way to look at it. So, team culture, right? What is your approach to building the camaraderie amongst your boys, and how do you foster and manage that environment that's going to bring out the best in your team, coach?
I think that's always one of the biggest challenges, every year. I think your human nature is to look out for yourself first, and getting guys to all buy into a team first ethos, and the idea that, what's best for me may not always be what's best for the team. And we try as much as possible to do everything that's going to be best for the player and for the team. But, as we all know in hoops, that doesn't always work out. And so getting each person to kind of buy into that mindset, again, it is one of the big challenges. But I think when you have it, then that's when you have a chance to really do something special. And we'll fight for that culture every day. I think it's important to have those standards, and whatever you really believe in, and this is one of those things that we believe in, then you got to be intentional about it, but you also got to fight for it.
So talking about that a little bit, Coach, I want to elaborate on that. As far as last year, you had faced a few challenges and obstacles. How were you able to kind of get through some of those obstacles and challenges last year? Because last year you guys had a great season, and then district did what you're supposed to do in district, and you really took care of the business once you got in the playoffs. So can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, it starts with trying to find your identity every year. That's one of the biggest challenges that your team faces is, who are we, first and foremost? And that's what we're trying to discover right now about this new group. And there's certainly tenets of your program that you want to have and carry over every year, but every group's different. It's high school basketball. We don't have the luxury of, hitting the transfer portal to fit a specific piece that fits our team and our system necessarily. So each year it's on us as coaches, but also the players as well, to kind of find our identity as a unit, figure out who we are. And so some of that comes through struggle, right? I think some of your best learning moments are going to come through that early adversity. So you can take, some of the tournament play that we had last year and getting in some high level games against some really athletic, physical teams that, it kind of became ugly, but we found ways to win. And I think those are games that, when we got further along in the season, it was kind of rallying cries of, look, this is who we are. This is our identity. And so those early struggles, I think, help enhance that. So now when we got to a situation, we were in the final 2 weeks of our season and our backs were against the wall to just make the playoff. And I think our guys really leaned on some of the things that they learned through the early season adversities and getting in against tough competition. That's something that really helped us along the way.
Well, you guys
I cut out a little while ago.
Sorry, Mike.
But I want to tell you, back on the culture piece you were talking about, both of your twin towers, they spoke on the leadership that you've instilled in the upperclassmen, and just being able to learn from them. And they both said the brotherhood is like the biggest piece, the overnight trips, the games, and everybody holding each other accountable, which, accountability can be a dangerous piece with sports. But both of them spoke highly of everybody holding each other accountable, but receiving the accountability as well. So whatever you're doing, coach, we want to give you kudos because both individuals on different interviews both said the same thing.
That's a credit to those guys, and I think it's one of those cycle of leadership things that each group has kind of taken ownership of. That those upperclassmen have taken ownership of, and then the younger guys see it and they follow it, and they want to do it. It can be as simple as we want a culture of extra, right? Like, so that's getting up shots after practice, staying after open gym to shoot, whatever those extra items are. I can trace it back to the last. This is year 12 at O'Connor, but I could trace who was driving that each year with that after practice routine. And, like you said, those other guys look around and they see it and I'm like, oh, shoot, if Brendan Winslow's shooting after practice, then, I guess I better be shooting after practice. And so then when it's when they're seniors, they have their own routine. And what I love about it is everybody puts their own spin on it and they have their own shooting routine and their own thing that they own. But certainly that cycle of leadership passing down from each group has been really cool. And that's another thing that I was blessed to learn at East Central with Coach Monowitz. And when I came in as a young player, the biggest thing for me was the confidence that those older guys had in me. And so certainly, when I became an upperclassman, it was take these youngsters under my wing as well. And that was just being blessed to come into a very successful program and culture there under him and learning that.
And the great part about your guys too, they spoke on, they really leaned on the seniors last year, and that was a credit to, I believe, you and your program, just being top-notch program that you are, that you entrust in your guys and you're showing them how to do that. And so both of the guys talked because Ethan was, I'm a lead by example kind of guy, and I believe Hagan said, I'm a vocal leader. So this year, I think you're going to have a really, really good, to where though a voice on the court so much to where though I think you're gonna have a really successful year with that group you're having this year.
I love to hear that. Well, each of them needs to be true to themselves as leaders. There's lots of different ways to do it. So I like to hear that.
Mike, you got number 7.
I do got number 7, but the great part is we're talking about these Twin Towers. He gets them 2 years. Wow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a blessing.
Hey, I didn't want to bring that up, so I was just going to kind of just not remind people of that.
Oh, if you think they don't know, you're crazy. Coach, can you share an example of a game or a season where you guys faced adversity? How did you get through that? What did you do to get through it and make it through that challenge and achieve success?
One of the things that stands out to me right now is a regional semifinal game against Lake Travis this past year. We got down, I think it was 12 points maybe at the start of the fourth quarter. So it was really a point where our backs were against the wall. And it's so much credit to our players because, I think one of the things that I realized and our coaching staff realized at the time was to some degree we needed to get out of the way. I felt like I was maybe overcoaching a little bit. And so, it's one of those deals where we train our kids all year to be able to think on the fly, to make decisions on the fly. We try to put them in those environments every single day, dating back to the spring. It's something we really believe in as a culture. And then maybe we were in a big game and I was trying to dictate a little bit too much of what's happening on the court. And it kind of needed to be, hey, we train in the jungle, let's put our kids in a situation where they can flow, get them in the spots they need to be in, but where they can flow and make the decisions on the fly there and really trust in them and empower them. And again, that's who we are. So sometimes it's just getting back to being who you were. But I'm so proud of those guys because it really wasn't anything special other than those guys coming together when their backs were against the wall the most and being more true to themselves. And I think that's what big time basketball is about. The clutch moments are about it. It's not about stepping up. It's about being more true to who you are in those moments. Those moments can change a lot of people. But to y'all's point about our senior leadership last year, those moments really just brought out the best in our group. So fond memories of that for sure.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it firsthand. You guys really stepped up to the challenge and looked good doing it. Like I told your players earlier, you and East Central had a real Cinderella story. I know you guys didn't get to the state tournament, but just where you guys were certain parts of the season, no one saw that coming. No one saw that coming. And that's what I love about sports right there. That fact, to see how far you guys, went. And the fact that your players are saying, hey man, we wanna do that again. We accepting the challenge. So that's great. That's great.
Hey, speaking of that Lake Travis game, and Coach spoke on this earlier, that student section
Mm-hmm.
during and then after that game, Coach, like he said, he saw it. That was just, oh man, oh man.
Really cool. And it's one of those things that, like I said earlier, the guys will always remember that. We're really blessed on that. And I can think back to some of those big playoff games over the years, and some you win, some you lose. But I think that environment and that feeling that those guys get from being in a big moment, that's what high school basketball is all about, and you hope that those are memories that they can share with each other for the rest of their life, which is, again, that's what's most cool for me.
Well, hey, Coach, when it comes to you guys, as far as your feeder schools, you got about two schools that feed into your program. So when it comes to you
We
guys, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, in Northside, everybody's got kind of a unique situation. We don't have any one feeder that feeds us 100% at O'Connor, but we do get parts of four different middle schools.
Oh, wow. So that's even better then. So by having, four schools feed into O'Connor possibly, how are you guys making your impact on what it is to be a player for O'Connor, and how you guys coaching those guys up so once they get there, they're prepared somewhat to play high school basketball?
Yeah, absolutely. Always, looking towards that future with the next groups, and there are inherent challenges in Northside because we're splitting campuses. So, whatever that school is, they may be feeding into multiple groups, and so we maybe don't get to be as hands-on with them working with each of those schools, just because a lot of those kids go elsewhere, and so that's part of it. But one of the things we really try to do, and this is something that we brought in coming to O'Connor 12 years ago, was starting our Future Panther basketball camp every summer, and just trying to get the youth in all the way from elementary through middle school, get them in the gym, get them fostering a love for basketball, a love for, hey, I want to be an O'Connor Panther when I grow up one day. And one of the things that was really cool about last year's team is one of the parents shared me a picture, and it was a picture I didn't remember, but it was two young men who were senior leaders on our team last year, and it was me with my arms around them after camp, and they were probably in second, third grade. One of the first camps that we did, and I think at the time when we're building this kind of thing, you don't envision that direct impact down the road. You're hoping that happens. So to see that full circle was one of the things that was super cool for me. That the work that we're doing with these young guys from the beginning, turns out to have fruits on both ends. Certainly for the players, but for me as a coach as well.
Well, I'm gonna speak firsthand. A personal experience. Whatever you guys are doing with that.
Is that what it's going to? Okay.
Whatever you guys are doing with that Panther camp is great, because this guy, right, he was on the fence, Brandeis and O'Connor. And I know where I wanted to lead him to, but I told him, you know what, I'm staying out of it. You're going to make your own decisions. I don't know what Brandeis did or didn't do, but I know he attended that camp. And so Hagan was a part of that leadership. I have another young man that was there, Avery Villagomez, And I know for them to see their big follow through brothers, right? That was just like wow, like oh, and he came away from that camp, and let's just say there was no more dilemma. So whatever you're doing, keep doing it because it truly makes it. It's making a difference.
Yeah, we also blessed to have good relationships with our middle school coaches, and so again it can be hard because we don't know who's on where at each school because they go multiple places from the middle school. So those middle school coaches really help us with that. Okay, here's the kids that are zoned to O'Connor, and they're coming from Stevenson Middle School, Garcia Middle School. We get some from Jefferson Middle School and some from Folks Middle School as well. Smaller numbers on those two, but yes.
Mike, you got the next question. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Coach. Okay.
All right, Coach. You got a hell of a balance. High school basketball, head varsity coach, husband, father, and then your administrative duties and responsibilities at O'Connor. How do you balance it all and just maintain healthy sustainability with all of it, Coach?
I think those are some of the biggest challenges that we face, as coaches. And, we're in this because we're doing something that we love. But, you also have family and those things as well. And so trying to balance it, as you guys know, we're trying to set up this podcast and we were having to figure out a time that, worked around my son's baseball schedule and, tournament, you don't know when they're going to lose and all that. So I appreciate you guys for working with me, but I think that's the big thing is just trying to, be present when we do have that opportunity in whatever it is. If it's time for basketball and these are the things that are really important, the most important to our program, then we're all in on that during that time. And then when it's time for family, then we're all in on that as well. And I would hope that that's something that our guys are learning as well, because one of the best teachers in athletics is time management and how to prioritize things. And these are skills that are going to take them throughout their life. So there's challenges on our end, certainly as coaches, but student athletes, we're blessed to have a lot of kids who do a really good job in the classroom, take high level courses, have big dreams on the academic side. And so I think that talk about the work-life balance, it's similar for those student athletes as well, and they've got to find the right way. And so these are skills that'll help them for a lifetime, hopefully.
Man, what's crazy is we enter again. Ita, this is crazy. Like to hear your Twin Towers earlier, and both of them were very adamant, very passionate about the student part of being an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Ethan with making sure he gets it all out the way early after having a rough freshman year, right? And then finally understanding Hagan, number 17 in his class out of 637, right? And so when you talk about the time management piece and the prioritization piece, and to hear your two juniors speak of those same things earlier, we know it's true because they don't know the questions we were asking you. And so that's just a testament to the program that you're running. It's not just about basketball. You are truly developing young surge ready for society. So top-notch kudos to you for that, Coach.
And what's crazy too is those guys make it look easy, and I know it's not easy. I mean, between like Ethan's in the ag program, he's got to take care of his animal every morning before school. Hagen's on these high-level classes. We have so many of these guys, and I know how much time they're putting in, and I'm like, man, you guys, they make it look so smooth and easy, unfazed. Really, props to them.
All right, Itali.
Yes,
that's all for the questions, Coach Itali. You got the fun fact.
I got the fun fact. Coach, tell us something that no one knows about you and what you would like to share with the audience out there.
Oh man, that put me on the spot on this one. This is tough.
You got to, Coach. You got to, because one thing why this platform is here for you guys. I don't think enough parents and enough student athletes, they don't know who you are. I like to get that part out sometimes.
I don't know that I have anything super interesting as far as a fun fact. I'm probably a pretty boring playing guy, but I'm born and raised in San Antonio. Just for background for people, born and raised in San Antonio. I was blessed to play for Coach Stan Bono at Eddie Central that I mentioned, and Coach Buddy Meyer at St. Mary's University, two legendary coaches. And I owe a lot of the things that I've learned to just being blessed to be a part of winning programs and from great coaches who taught me a lot about the game, but more importantly about how to treat kids and about life.
All right, coach. I'm gonna let that one just one time. I'm gonna let that one slide. I'm telling you, we're gonna do this again, coach. We're gonna do this again. So just be ready, okay? Be ready. I'm gonna ask you something about you, like do you like fishing or hunting or something. We're gonna get it out you now. Come on, we got to know who you are, coach. You're doing a good job over there.
His towers told us already. Don't expect to get anything extra out of them. They already told us.
Well, I didn't realize it was true, but now I'm starting to see. Okay.
They're telling stories on me now. Y'all should have put them on the spot. Y'all could have asked them a fun fact. They may.
We did, and they both. Oh, you're gonna see it. They both gave us. Oh man, like hey, yeah, they both. They gave us some nuggets. Yes, they did.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. I got rapid fire segment for you. I'm gonna ask you a series of questions, and you just give us your choices. All right.
Yes, sir.
Houston Texans or the Buffalo Bills today?
Bills.
Pizza or calzone?
Pizza.
Cheeseburger or chili cheese dog?
Cheeseburger.
Okay. Dallas Cowboys or the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Cheering for the Cowboys, but as a Cowboys fan, who's going to win? Might have to go the other way.
Oh, wow. You'll get in trouble for that one. Okay. Kobe or LeBron?
Kobe.
All right. McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's.
Whataburger or In-N-Out?
Whataburger.
Okay, good job. Now, two-part wing question. Hot or barbecue?
Hot.
Drums or flats?
Flats.
Okay. Bears or Panthers?
We all lose. Bears.
Oh, man. Italy, help him out, Italy. He didn't get that one.
Coach, yeah, he's not talking like going more to basketball on this one. High school basketball. Think about it.
I just saw it go across my screen on the bottom. So my mind was on Sunday football mode here.
It's okay. Go ahead. So who we rooting on one of those Monday, or excuse me, I think you guys play Monday, Thursday, right? Y'all district play is Monday, Thursday?
Either Tuesday, Friday, or Wednesday, Saturday.
Okay. So on one of those days, who you got? Bears or Panthers?
Panthers.
There you go.
My bad. I forgot. I literally, Coach, that's on me. Do the Bears and Panthers actually really play today?
They're playing like right now. I'm telling you, I saw.
Oh wow!
It was 7-7.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, you have me in
That's
NFL.
Crazy. My bad. I was being funny. I don't say Brennan or O'Connor. I get the kids with that too, make them wake up. I did not realize they're actually playing. That's crazy. My bad.
That's funny.
Well done. See, y'all are sneaky.
Oh man. Hey, well, Coach
Unfortunately,
Jewasko,
it's not done on purpose.
Right. Coach Jewasko, again, thank you for taking time to let us show you love and give you flowers, man. This next season and definitely the season after. Looking forward to seeing what O'Connor's going to do over there. You know I'm going to be there. And just again, thank you for taking the time to fellowship with us and give us this opportunity here at Super Sports Media.
I think this is great what you guys are doing with this platform and promoting high school basketball. Keep doing great things. I appreciate y'all.
And thank you again, Coach, for being that underdog that just put his socks on before his shoes and really, really did what you guys did, because you guys shocked the world last year, and I'm looking forward to you guys running that off again. Okay, I'm letting you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're gonna work on it.
All right, Coach. Finish having a blessed day with the family. Enjoy football, and we'll see you soon, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.